What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sideline to Sideline. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walls, like in the upper left corner from Integrity Sports Network, the Prince of Production, chomping at the bit. It's Kyle Edwards.
What's up, man? Look, we just a week out from the Super Bowl. NFL season's coming to an end. It's been interesting, but look, obviously we're gonna get into the championship Sunday, so just glad to be back talking some NFL with y'all.
Talking some sports with the All Sports Station. In the upper right corner, he's not guarding the 2. He's guarding the 3. It's Mr. Guardy 3, Brett Carter-P. What's up, brother?
I'm doing good. A great week in sports, from championship weekend to awkward sports interviews. Did you guys see the Liam Cohen Duval? That was maybe the most awkward thing I'll ever see all week. But yeah, no, great. I'm doing good tonight.
I mean, I don't know how you missed it. It's very awkward. And it's crazy to think that wasn't the most awkward interview or press conference for a new head coach. Mm-hmm. There's no way that topped what happened in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fair.
It's so bad. Yeah, he's not the best, but he's just our guy. He's going to be all right. You know, he's our guy. What the hell were we talking about?
Yeah.
I lost it. I really legitimately thought it was a joke. I'm like, there's got to be a mistake here. But there wasn't, and we are here to talk some sports. Can we all agree? All right, so let's no, we're not doing basketball.
That's in 2 hours.
Screw the Birds and Mahomes, but for Gene, I'll pull for the Dirty Birds. I guess I'll take that. Cohen looked like Joy from Inside Out. Yeah, well, I like Joy from Inside Out, though. Joy's good people. I like a lot of Joys. What's up, Gatrell? My girl, Joy Taylor. I don't care what you say. I'm a Joy Taylor fan. Call it like it is. We got a lot to get into. Just sharing everything out. If you guys don't mind, give us a like, give us a share. Send it out. I think Eberflus was the more crazy hire over Schottenheimer. I don't know if I agree with that, John.
I think Eberflus could actually be a pretty smart hire for the Cowboys. Eberflus, the one thing he did do most weeks, he had his defense ready to play. He's always been a good defensive guy. So I think putting him in a strictly defensive role, I think it could be a fine hire for the Cowboys, actually.
A Patriot, a Patriots fan, a Packers fan, an Eagles fan walk into a bar. Got to be a punchline there. I mean, only one's playing next week. I'm sorry. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Kyle's had his fair share of Super Bowls. I don't really give a shit if he ever sees the Super Bowl again.
No, I mean, yeah, I've seen enough. I obviously don't want too many more seasons like the past couple, but, you know.
I think you need to suffer like the rest of us.
I mean, I guess.
Give him some years of suffering. Anybody down with that? All right, basically done sharing it out. We're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship. I have some video footage to show you guys all. We'll have a little trivia, and then we'll talk about some coaching hires and around the league news and information. But let's start with the NFC Championship game. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Let's have a conversation about that. Washington went into Philadelphia, and guys, I don't know if you guys seen it, but they took over the Hard Rock. They took over the Hard Rock Cafe. They went into Philadelphia and they did a full takeover. The Hard Rock was theirs. I got to give credit where credit's due, man. I mean, I'm going to be clear. I didn't even know we had a Hard Rock. I've been from Philadelphia my entire life. I had no idea there was a Hard Rock Cafe in Philadelphia, but they took it over. It's apparently it's a Philadelphia establishment that is, you know, it's like Geno's and Pat's. It's like something that everyone's always goes to, but they took it over. But I'll say this as a joke, and obviously Commanders fans found the place that no Eagles fans go to and then claimed it as their own, which was hilarious. But Tailgate Ted had a thing that a lot of Commanders fans came to Philadelphia, dressed up the Rocky statue. It never really works out for any of those guys. But what I will say is some good came out of it. Tailgate Ted has a mission for supporting, obviously like supporting the fight against cancer. And just being clear, he made a comment to Philadelphia Eagles fans, like, a lot of you guys have given me shit, but I doubt you'll donate to my cause I've been supporting. And all year, the guy's been, building up. He's got $8,000 donated to his cause. So Eagles fans got wind of this, and they started donating exactly $55.23. And they donated that until they got over 23,000. The goal was 20,000. So they well surpassed the goal, donating $55.23, which is the epic troll job. Like, everybody donating the exact score of the Eagles Commanders game. Epic troll job. I mean, you got to give Eagles fans their credit. But there wasn't all happiness. There wasn't all good news as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And guys, if you're out there listening and you're an Eagles fan, first of all, I think the Eagles fans are the most passionate fans in sports. They had 20, 30, 40,000 people on Broad Street and Frankfurt and Cottman after they won the game to go to the Super Bowl. What we have to stop doing is we have to stop climbing the poles. And what happened tragically, an 18-year-old kid from Temple University lost his life falling down a pole, and he's no longer with us. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad. We got to stop doing shit like that. I understand you want to be, we're the craziest and the most rile fans, and we want to give ourselves a home field advantage. And guys, I don't know any other cities in which 20, 30, 40,000 people hit the streets, not after winning the Super Bowl, but after winning the NFC Championship game. The fan base is incredible, and Trogan says it perfectly. There's a difference between passion and a lot of what's going on, especially after going after opposing fans. Trogan, you're correct. I seen the video, too, of the Eagles fan taking the Commanders fan's hat off and stealing his hat. That stuff has to stop. That stuff has to – you can't do that, right? If you want to give them smack – I said this on the show, and I'll say it here again. Frankie Louvu, hated him all week, hated him during the game. I would love to have him on my team. Jarrett Verse, hated him all week, hated him during the game when the Rams played the Eagles. I'd love to have him on my team. After the game, it's like you're fighting UFC. You have the conversation about fist fighting all week. Fight. And then after the game, you see the guys give each other a hug. Almost always. Shake hands. Philadelphia Eagles fans need to take some, and most of them are that. But I'll pass it over. Kyle, Brett, your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the fan base, your thoughts on anything I just said in the opening segment.
No, yeah, I mean, fans are gonna congregate. They're gonna have their fun and everything. But I definitely agree. It's like you have to be smart about it. Because a couple of years ago, then like somebody climb a pole, get like hit in the head with a beer and stuff like that. And it's just like going up there leads to no good. And like I said, every time there's a crowd, there's that one fan that's like, well, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna make myself known, because they'll get like a camera to get a shot of them or something like that. They might get a player to notice them if it's like a Super Bowl parade. But it's like, is it worth it? Because if you're up there, you lose your balance just a little bit, like now you're tumbling down towards the ground. People who are down there aren't going to catch you. I mean, they'll try, but it's like you're still going to hurt yourself. So have to be safe in terms of all that. Now, in terms of the game, I mean, look, I agree with you about like Frankie Louvu. Like that's a guy right there. I would love to have him as a linebacker on the Patriots. I mean, yeah, everybody looking at the offsides, which was kind of weird how the ref was like, if he's intentionally doing it, can award a score. It's like, what do you want him to do? They're lining up for a tush push. He's trying to time the snap because he did it earlier. Jalen Hurts was smart. It was like, He's just gonna jump the minute I go hut. So we'll go on 2, go on 3, and he'll just keep jumping over. But because I know how you felt about Luvu going into it, but yeah, that's a guy I would love to have in the middle of the field for me. I think for Washington, like you got to look at it as great season, way ahead of schedule. Jaden Daniels is legit, and now you build off of this going into next year. You know get a couple more pieces. Maybe you want to get another wide receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin if you want to. Now Washington's in the mode where they're just refining around the edges. They have a foundation with their quarterback. They have, pieces that got them to this point. Next year we'll have to see because now people know about them. They're going to be playing a different schedule, and whether or not they can turn this into not just a 1-year wonder and like a little run of playoff appearances. Like I don't know if they have enough talent to necessarily be like a Super Bowl team, but for where Washington football has been, there's a lot of optimism that should be down there in Landover, Maryland. Like you should go into next year like proud to be a Commanders fan. And for the Eagles did kind of what they should have. Like before the playoffs.
Don't say that. No.
I'm just gonna say that.
We're not letting that happen.
No. I'm not like taking back my pick or anything. I'm just saying.
Okay,
like,
just making sure.
I've looked at the Eagles and said, top to bottom, you just looked on paper, most talented roster in the NFC were the Eagles. I thought because of Washington and the momentum that they had, I still had some questions about the Eagles. Maybe some of that was from last year and how that went to this year where Saquon Barkley's been great, but it's like every game it's like Saquon's great. Jalen, I don't know. Saquon's great. What about the rest of the offense? So I thought it would be a game where the Eagles would struggle offensively. Washington, for whatever reason, would be able to do their thing. So I was completely wrong on that. But like coming out of it now, it's like I feel like I still have some questions about Jalen Hurts, but I think with Saquon and how he's able to kind of pick it up, and at this point, it seems like there's not a defense that can stop him at this point. So as long as they get the ball in his hands, I feel like the Eagles will be fine. And I mean, obviously, we'll save Super Bowl stuff for next week, but
yeah, we'll talk about Super Bowl next week.
But I came out of that game looking at the Eagles team and going, okay, I was impressed by how they went about their business. I've been impressed with Saquon Barkley most of the year, and I feel like they're ready for next week. Whether I pick them or not, you have to wait. But I got the pick wrong. I'm not trying to backtrack from that. Like you all heard me. I went
what they were supposed to do, bro. I wasn't gonna let you get away with that.
No, not at all. Look, I've been wrong plenty of times with picks. I don't care. I don't try to say I'm some expert or anything. Like I will be wrong, and I will proudly sit here and say I was dead wrong about this game.
Brett?
Yeah, I don't think I can really add too much more about the fan base. Just be safe, be smart for future celebrations. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family and loved ones of the deceased. The actual game, I think my big takeaway on the Commander side is Jaden Daniels is legit. I thought that was already kind of solidified in the first couple rounds, but I think this game solidified it even more. I thought he played great. When he left the game, it was 14-12. Next time he touches the ball, it's 27-12. The Commanders just had a lot of just bad fumbles that they couldn't afford.
Yep.
Credit the Eagles defense for being very aggressive, looking to punch the ball out at every turn. At the end of the day, the Eagles offense stepped up big time. Jalen Hurts had his best game in like a month. Saquon Barkley was ripping off big runs, and they look absolutely unstoppable on Sunday. So that was fun to watch for me. I definitely did enjoy watching that game, and I'm excited to see how it goes against Kansas City in a couple weeks.
Can we talk about Marshawn Latimer's comments after the game when they asked him what went wrong in the game? And he's a defensive player, right? Mm-hmm. He asked him what went wrong in the game, and he said, turnovers, man. Can't turn the ball over like that and win in this league. I don't know, Marshawn. I don't know. You can't let up 55 points either. You can't let up 7 rushing touchdowns. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you're right. Maybe the turnovers were part of the problem. But if you're a defensive player and you're pointing fingers at the offense, I feel like I could easily just turn the finger back and be like, hey, Marshawn, just checking. How many points did their offense score? Oh, 55. Got it.
Yeah. And we saw a lot of Lattimore kind of getting burnt on his side of the field.
Multiple times.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Devontae Smith led to a touchdown. He got burned on the 4th down by A.J. Brown. The touchdown to A.J. Brown was on Marshawn Lattimore. Yep. Like, yes, he got burned a lot.
Yeah. So he's the last one who should be talking anything. Unless you want to go out there and say, unless you want to go out there and say, I should have been better. That should have been the only thing he should have said. That's it.
Look, I'm obviously super excited about the Philadelphia Eagles being in the Super Bowl. I'm not going to hide that, right? It's very special to me. It's meaningful. I'm sure it's meaningful to anyone that watches football, but to me, I'm a little bit too big of a football fan. I understand that. I do want to address a couple of things that were in the chat. Puts hate from opposing fans towards the Eagles team now. Hey, Trogan, I got news for you, brother. They've always hated us. We had a song in 2018, and if you like, I'd sing it to you. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly. I'll space that bar. Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. I just want to be clear. We don't care if no one likes us. I am saying, as an Eagle fan, you got to be better than the 5 or 6 morons that did things like take a Commander's hat off the guy's head. Like the comments that one moron said that got him fired and arrested. Well, not arrested, but fired for saying the comments to that girl in the Green Bay Packers game.
Yeah.
There's those idiots, there's just not. But the funny ones, the ones that stood in front of the Commander's bus and was like didn't let the bus leave for 5 minutes because they were taunting the bus. I think that's hilarious. I'm sorry. That's a division rival. And when you have 25 fans standing in front of your bus yelling, "Go Birds!" Like, I think that's funny. I think that's hilarious. But I don't know. He said fans aren't cheering for Eagles because of the fans. They're going for the Chiefs. I don't care who the fans go for. Trogan, if I'm being honest with you, I want people rooting against the Eagles. That means there'll be more money bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, which means it'll be more likely that Vegas won't make the call. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care. I want us against the world mentality. I don't want to be your friend. If you've ever, Trogan, let me ask you a question. Have you ever competed in sports? And I mean this when I say, Brett, I know you competed in sports before. Kyle, you've competed in sports before, right? Mm-hmm. Did you want your opponent to like you?
No.
I didn't want my opponent to like me. I don't want the opponent to like me. I villainize the opponent. In Philadelphia, that's kind of what we do. So that's okay. You know, if you're not from here, you might not understand that, and that's okay. So Trogan, did you like when the opponent did you villainize the opponent? I played baseball myself. I used to hate the opposing team's pitchers. By the way, I was one of the most thrown at guys in the league because I would always run my mouth. Obviously, that's carried on. But that's just my take on it. And you don't have to like us, but I'll tell you this. I'd rather, and I asked these guys this before, and I'll ask you guys in the chat. Give me the best fan bases in sports. Let me know who the best fan bases in sports are. And all the time, I would take an Eagles fan, a Browns fan, a Bills fan, a Patriots fan, a Raiders fan. I'll take the passionate fan, a Packers fan. I'll take a passionate fan over a Jaguars fan, over a Falcons fan, over a Carolina Panthers fan, over the Arizona Cardinals fan, either LA team fan. I'll take the passion and deal with a couple morons over the guys that don't show up, over a Miami Heat fan. Worst fans in sports, the Miami Heat. They leave in the third quarter. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he said best fan base, Raiders. The Raiders are known for beating the shit out of people in the black hole. Do you know how many people have went into black hole and came out with black eyes? Just saying. Don't be that guy. All right, next game. AFC Championship game. Chiefs versus the Bills. I'll go last on this one because I have a little video evidence. We'll obviously get into a discussion about some things that I hope Chase is listening. I really do. Brett, what were your thoughts on the Bills versus Chiefs game? Your thoughts, the breakdown of it. What did you like? What did you dislike?
Yeah, I thought this was a really fun game. We predicted it'd be the game of the weekend, and we were right. Great back and forth game. On the Bills side, I didn't like their defense most of the night. The Kansas City Chiefs were just generating chunk plays of 10+ yards. It seemed like whenever they really needed it, and without much resistance, which was kind of an issue kind of all night for them. But when it came to the Bills, Josh Allen came to play. He started out rough. Those first 2 passes were legit terrible, but he really locked in and settled down. I think the big difference in this game, and I know that there was controversy with the spotting of the football on the Josh Allen 4th down, but at the end of the day, Josh Allen still had the ball in his hands with the chance to tie or go up. He had plenty of time to do so. I think this was a game where you saw the difference in coaching. Sean McDermott and the Bills coaching staff, they coached a great game. But what Andy Reid showed you, there's levels to greatness. Because they went in and they put on an all-time masterclass. When we're talking about Josh Allen getting that blitzed on 4th down, the corner blitz was just an absolutely terrific call. The disguise was brilliant.
It was.
Samaje Perine getting 17 yards with the crossers that cleared his guy out. I think that this was a fun back and forth game. And at the end of the day, I think both teams were evenly matched. The big difference to me, it was in the coaching. The coaching ended up winning KC this football game.
We will get into this because my answer is yes. I think it's closed. And if it's not closed, it's closing. But I'll get into that. Kyle.
I mean, look, I feel like when we looked at the playoffs, we knew the Chiefs were going to be the 1 seed. Obviously, your mind goes to which team, which quarterback would be the best equipped to go up against them. I mean, I still say the best quarterback to go up against Mahomes is sitting in Cincinnati, but they didn't make it in, so you can count them. And I always thought Buffalo was going to probably give Kansas City their best game. We saw Lamar in Baltimore last year. I didn't think they'd be, better equipped this year because their own philosophy of going against Derrick Henry and everything like that. But Buffalo, even with the window closing, because I know we'll get into that because I feel like that's going to be an interesting discussion. I think if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, one, you probably feel like the franchise is cursed with the 4 straight, Super Bowls you lose. Now Josh Allen's had his team in the playoffs and has lost to Mahomes for a 4th time. Sure. I thought Josh Allen had a good game, but the difference, and we could probably say about the NFC, you saw Washington hadn't been there. The Eagles have been there, done that. They play like that kind of team. Washington had little mistakes. In this one, Mahomes, Chiefs, Andy Reid, when you go up against them, you have to take advantage of every opportunity. You can't give away, possessions or anything like that, and you have to be locked in all game. And I thought there were moments like Brett got into, especially defensively, where they had some breakdowns. Offensively, the 4th and inches, stuff like that, where maybe Josh Allen was a little bit too high. Should have gone down low on the push. Little things like that maybe you get away with against other teams. You can't with Kansas City. And I know that a lot of people love looking at that one play and pulling up every angle to say, oh, he got it, the rest, whatever. It's I don't get into all that because for Kansas City, Like you can't leave it to certain little things like that. Because if you look at this game, you could probably point to a couple of times where it looked like Buffalo might get it done. And then it's just one little mess up here or there. They get the ball, it's a punt. Kansas City builds a little momentum, and boom, now you're sitting there playing tight, trying to regain the lead. So, like, it is what it is. Kansas City proved once again that as much as people want to say that they don't look like the old Kansas City Chiefs, you still have to prove that you can go into Arrowhead and beat them. And nobody's been able to do it so far during this run.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
You're going to tell me that play, listen, I'll be clear when I tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
You had the ball with the game on the line. You had an opportunity to win the game. So I don't want to hear they would have won the game if that call got overturned. But we can't pretend that was not a huge missed call. It was a missed call.
Yes.
And let me show you, for everybody listening at home.
I mean, even when you're pulling that up, it's like, I get that. But then you look at the drive that ended the game. Josh Allen off his back foot puts the ball in play for Dalton.
So you're saying in order to beat the Chiefs, you got to beat the shit out of them, right? You can't let it be close. You can't win really close because you're not going to get any 50-50s, right?
No,
we talked about this.
I mean, you can beat them. I mean,
you can't beat them clean.
I'm just saying, I saw Brady go in there, face Kansas City, have to take it to overtime, and then beat them on the first drive in overtime. Like, you can beat them if it's close. It's just that when you get those opportunities, you have to take
them. About the Patriots back in 2019? Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about the Patriots back in 2019 because they were the benefactor of bad calls in that football game that let that game get to overtime because the Patriots used to be the champ. And in the NFL, if you're the champ, in order to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. I'm sorry. I've been saying this all week. It's the truth. In order to beat the Patriots, you need to beat the shit out of them. You couldn't beat them close. You weren't allowed to beat them close. The referees wouldn't let it. There's a play where Chris Jones doesn't even touch Tom Brady, and he gets a 15-yard penalty. And the part that drives me the craziest about Tom Brady calling football games now is he's great at it, right? I love him. I want to hear him. I can't wait to hear him in the Super Bowl. He's great at it. Yeah. But what bothers me the most about Tom Brady is he's like, the officials are just not letting them play anymore, and they're taking the physicality out of the game. Where do you think that came from, Tom? Where? Because you got every call under the sun. If anybody breathed near Tom Brady, they got a penalty, and stop it.
I can push back on that because
Kyle, if you are a
hold on.
I'm a non-Patriots fan.
Remember, Peyton Manning's Colts had issues with Patriots secondary being physical with their wide receivers. That was the start of the whole taking away physicality. And they whined about it. They changed rules for them. It got so bad for the Colts, they moved them to the South instead of keeping them in the East. Why would they be in the South when you have the Dolphins in the East?
I hear you.
But they had to set up for Peyton Manning to be successful. He was never going to get it done in that AFC East.
But I don't agree with that, Kyle. What I'm saying is, if you're a Patriots fan and don't think that you were the benefactor of a lot of huge
I'm not saying that the Patriots weren't benefactors of that. I'm just saying that. So the thought has been for like 5-6 years now is that the Chiefs, when you play them,
the new Patriots, they are
right. So once again, that final drive, Josh Allen throws off his back foot. That's a catch. Dalton Kincaid, if he makes that, are we talking about that 4th and 1? Maybe not. We don't know.
They still have to win the game. I don't know how the game plays out from that point. If he makes that, do they tie the game with a field goal? Do they win the game? I don't know. And it's just
that's the big what if. But
the same thing. But it's the same thing you can talk about.
Kincaid has to make.
Correct.
Do you think Travis Kelce drops that?
No. But it's the same thing you could talk about in Super Bowl 57. If they don't call the holding call, who wins the football game? I don't know. But I'd like to know because that holding call is now listed. You know what's such a kick in the face to Eagles fans? That's now listed as one of the top 5 worst calls in the history of sports. That is right next to Nicole Roby Coleman in L.A. and in New Orleans as one of the worst calls in the history of sports. So, like, that's another. But it goes to my point, Kyle. To beat the champs, it's like boxing, bro. It's just like boxing. To beat the champs, you have to beat the shit out of them. You can't win 7-5 on the scorecards. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. You can't beat them by one round. It won't work. You got to win 9-3 or 10-2, or you got to knock them sons of bitches out, because the Chiefs are now the new Patriots. That's what they are. That's what they are. And this is proof, right? And I'll get into what Buffalo did wrong in a second, but let me share. I'll share. Anybody watching at home, any Chiefs fans that think that there was no foul play in this football game, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And and John Boy Media, shout out to John Boy. Guys did a great job of this.
I watch them a lot. They're good.
They're great. Here you go. This is what
about these spots in the game between Buffalo and Kansas City. So let's take a look. This breakdown is brought to you by Captain Morgan. We're going to dive in. This is basically science. Science by video editing. 3rd and 3. Fake the inside handoff. Go outside. Get the first. They say we got it. Kansas City comes up. They don't say no. Just 23 was like, no, I don't think so. And then, okay, they didn't get it. They got to hurry up. Clock's ticking, clock's ticking, clock's ticking, clock's ticking. Didn't get it by half a yard. Okay, QB sneak and pushed him over the line. No, what's going to be the call? Everyone's pointing every which way. One official comes in on the line. The other official comes in inside the line, and everyone's pointing, and we got tons of pointing, lots of pointing, and they say they stopped him. Let's take a look at my very scientific replays, okay? As you see, we've got Allen hugging the ball. Everyone I saw saying it was on his right side, but it's more on his left side, and it's dead center. He's just bear hugging that thing. Problem is, the Chiefs player gets in the way of our view. Don't worry. I edited with science. I made the Chiefs player invisible to give us some insight into where that ball actually is. There you go. That's where the ball is. He's hugging it right in front of his chest. He's got a good grip. See? Okay. So that's where the ball is. Now, see that pylon behind? Let's just drag that down a little bit. That's a straight line. Come on. Lower, lower. Keep going. I've got the head of the football over that dang line, and that official's got a great view of it. This is great news. Great news for Buffalo. The Chiefs say, no, we stopped him. We stopped him. They say, no, let's take another look. Okay, we've got Josh Allen in yellow to make it easier. And he's, okay, is he over the line here? That seems to be the farthest we go. And you can see there's some, I synced it up. See the left foot of 66. See how it's down right there? It's down at the dash line. So between his foot, where am I? Between his little foot right here and there, and Allen is all the way over here. So you have like the angle on the camera. That is 1 yard away from first down, and Allen's there. So that seems like they're pretty close. Again, this is science by editing, which is backed by none, believed by everyone. And then he falls down short. Okay, another view. Now we know this is the view I was talking about. I saw a lot of people saying, because this view, I mean, you go from the line and then just, up this dude's butt and up the line. And like, yeah, he looks like he's there. Well, you don't know where the ball is. Well, we do know where the ball is. It's kind of dead center. It's right under his chin, right? And that line, we're just going to ride that straight up. Where's his chin? The ball's under his chin. The ball's on both sides of his chin. I got first down. By my science, by editing, I have that as a first down, judging from the 3 angles and all of the doctor work that I did on them. And then here's the other angle. And I mean, that one looks like he's, his butt's over, his head's over, the ball's over. The problem is spotting a football in the NFL is dumb. I've talked about this on many breakdowns, and it's just my opinion. 85 to 99% of the game, the old ref just runs in and puts it down and no one gives a shit. And then when it matters, they're like, let's take.
going to stop for now. I'm going to go right back to it in a second, right? I'm going to go right back to it in a second because that's part one. I don't think there's any argument that he got the first down there. Can you guys argue that he didn't get the first down?
No, I thought he got the first down when the play happened in real time.
Part two, which I feel like isn't talked about enough, is this part. And I'll show you this. And this back to my video footage. I sped it up. We only got a minute left. No big deal. Back to my video footage.
Do it. Clearly, they don't have my science backed by editing. And this is what they say. After review, rolling on the field stands is called. First down, Kansas City. And everyone at home's watching. Hey, but it's actually the first spot that was more egregious. You did all the science on the second spot, the first spot, the 3rd and 3. Oh, you're right. Because the official probably thought his knee went down, but his knee was not down. He probably thought his knee was down there, so he marks it there, but his knee was not down, and he's able to actually switch the ball and get it out by the time his elbow goes down. Ball lands, he's on the line, and then they marked it there. On the line there. So, yeah, that spot is way more green.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Oh, go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, no, I do believe against the Chiefs. I think Gina's right in the regard you're not going to get those calls. Those 50-50 calls aren't going to go your way. To beat the champ, you're going to have to beat them. And, I can reference something that happened in the NBA. There's a video clip that went around with Michael Jordan where a foul was called, and the ref straight up asked him, "He fouled you, Michael?" "Okay, yeah, I didn't see it, but I'll believe you." And it's just the thing with the all-time great teams and dynasties. After a while, they're going to get the benefit of that whistle. So I actually agree with Gene in the fact that 50-50 calls, they aren't going to go your way when you're playing Kansas City. So you have to execute and go for the throw.
That was two though, Brett. The third one was the incomplete pass that could have been an interception that they ruled a completion to Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Like it's on the ground. Like if you want to argue that the Bills player had it before he hit the ground and the ground caused the ball to pop out, I could hear that argument. But that's an interception. You can't argue that ball was in the Bills player's hand, bounced off the ground and into Xavier Worthy's hand, and that's a Xavier Worthy catch. That's craziness. And with all that being said, I'm still not getting on here saying that it's fixed, it's rigged. I'm still not saying that the Bills definitely win the football game if those calls go their way. What I am saying is the Philadelphia Eagles have their work cut out for them. They got their work cut out for them because you're not playing against just 11 guys on the other side of the ball. You're not going to get those 50-50 calls. And the evidence is in Super Bowl 57. The evidence is in Super Bowl 57. You didn't call one defensive holding call the entire game. But James Bradbury got called for that defensive hold. Like, are we serious? To lose the Super Bowl? Yeah, that's a problem. It's an issue that I have. It's an issue I'll have going into the week, and I hope that the NFL can rectify that with what they're planning on doing for the Super Bowl. That's not for here nor there. Let's talk about what Buffalo did wrong. Number one, Kincaid has to catch that ball. I'm not saying it's an easy catch, but you get both hands on it. Your quarterback makes that good of a throw. You got to make that catch. You have to make that catch. That's one. Two, tell me how in the world, and this is what baffles me more than anything. How does James Cook leave that game with 13 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns? How does James Cook leave that game? Ty Johnson got 6 carries and Ray Davis got 2. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. 8 carries for Ty Johnson and Ray Davis for 23 yards. 13 carries for James Cook for 85 yards. Why? What are you? Why are you holding the bullets in the gun? Why are you holding it back? Let your best running back run the football, you morons.
But this is the same thing we saw Baltimore do last year. Something works all the way up until Kansas City. Teams play Kansas City and feel like we have to do it differently. I agree with you. I thought James Cook was playing masterfully, and I thought when he was running the ball as he did, I was like, this is Buffalo's ticket to winning this game.
Yeah.
But it's also something, once again, as a Patriots fan, I saw plenty of teams go up against New England in postseason games and all of a sudden try to be something that they're not.
Yep.
It's this mentality that these teams have where they get cute and they overthink it. Like, I don't care if Josh Allen has 50 yards passing. If James Cook is dominating on the ground and he rushes for like 150, 200, you win the game, who cares?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just think that James Cook, I think Buffalo made a lot of mistakes, coaching-wise, offensively, defensively. I think that they can blame themselves for losing this football game. They can't blame the officials. But all I will end up saying, and Brett, I will end it here, is I'm not – you ever see the Chris Rock skit where he's talking about O.J. Simpson and killing his wife? He's like, I'm not saying he killed her, but I understand. I'm not saying it's the officials' fault that Buffalo lost the game, but I understand if I'm a Bills fan, if I'm waking up Monday morning saying, hey, listen, we made our mistakes just like Kansas City did, but we got nothing from, like, we literally got nothing given to us. And you can't expect anything given to you. You have to beat them. You got the, and this goes down to what's going to happen in the Super Bowl next week. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you have the opportunity within a 7-year span to beat the two greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game when it's all said and done. Patrick Mahomes is headed that way. Tom Brady is there. And the two best coaches ever to coach the game when it's all said and done in Bill Belichick and Andy Reid. You got an opportunity. This is what opportunities are made of. You have an opportunity, Brett.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It'll be a lot of fun to see how they handle it. Obviously, we'll talk more about the game next week, but I'm looking forward to it. The Eagles have a chance to do something that, nobody else has, we've really ever seen, is knock off just a quarterback coaching combination this great twice. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens for sure.
All right. Well, we'll move on. We'll preview the Super Bowl next week. Do I think McDermott should be fired? No. I think after next year, the only thing that helps them out is they're in a division that's a dumpster fire again. The Patriots will be better next year, but they're not going to compete for the division. The Miami Dolphins listen, guys. I don't know how Mike McDaniel has a job. If you fire Brian Flores out of it after a 9-8 and a 10-7 season, I don't know how Mike McDaniel has a job. I don't. Help me out. Help me help you. Don't understand it. And then you got the Jets, who are the Jets. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. And Aaron Glenn gave a hell of a press conference. I was fired up. I wanted to run through a wall.
He's the one person that I would be like, I would give him a shot and say he might be good next year. Other than that, I don't know. That was about as good of a press conference as he could have had for the situation that team is in.
Let's talk about coaches' press conferences. Aaron Glenn gave a great press conference. Yep. I hate the situation he's in. I really genuinely do. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be their quarterback next year?
Hopefully not Aaron Rodgers.
And I'll say this, and Brett, let me ask you a question real quick. Does Liam Cohen win like con artist of the decade?
Yeah, I would say I think he might, because just the whole situation of how he got, turned it down, then agreed to a deal with the Bucks for more money, but he couldn't renegotiate with the Jags, but never signed the deal, just to backtrack and go sign with the Jags after they fired Balky is just absolutely wild. So it's just a crazy situation that happened, and all I can say is that's something you like only see in Jacksonville because that was just nuts.
Do you know why I call him a scam artist? And I don't mean to use that term. Like, good for Liam. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. You guys should be able to see this. Liam Cohen is this to me. If anybody ever been in any type of hiring field, this is what you call a job jumper. Cohen was hired to be assistant wide receivers coach in the Rams in 2018. He's reassigned to quarterbacks in 2020. Kentucky, he worked there for a year, and he was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then he went back to the Rams to be their offensive coordinator, replacing Kevin O'Connell. And then he left after that to go back to Kentucky to be their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for a year there. And then after a dipsy-do guy gets a job at Carolina, what's the guy's name? I don't know why I always forget the guy's name. The coach for Carolina. The offensive coordinator. Yeah, Canales. He leaves and he goes to Tampa Bay and he's their offensive coordinator for a year. And now, he goes to interview at Jacksonville and he tells the guys, hey guys, listen, I'm not going to be your head coach unless you get rid of that GM. That GM's an idiot. Balky's an idiot. I don't want to be your head coach unless you get rid of the GM. And then turns the job down, gets more money from Tampa Bay to come back, agrees to a contract, never signs the contract. And then the Jaguars fire Trent Baalke, and then he gets the job for Jacksonville. It just seems like a snake oil salesperson. Like, that's called a job jumper. That's what it is, right? We've all seen these guys before. I think he'll be a one and done. Maybe a 1.5. Maybe he gets fired in the middle of his second season. I don't like that. And he goes in his first press conference, and man, did you ever see the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey? Mm-hmm. What do they call him? A Magoo? He's a Magoo. That's what he is. He's a Magoo. Duval. Like, dude, that's like the worst soundbite ever. He's a Magoo. Your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like you said everything. Like, from that press conference, you don't feel confident that their season's going to go well. Like, he comes across as a guy where it's like everything on game day will probably be overwhelming. He'll probably stand on the sideline, look lost or whatever. The Jags will go through another rough year, and we'll probably be back here next year wondering, should Cohen keep a job? If he's gone, like, who wants that job? Like, I don't know. It's the whole Jack situation. It just seems like Cohen showed a little interest, and that was it. They couldn't get anybody else to go down there. They couldn't get Saleh to go down there. Other guys were like, I'm good. I'll stay where I'm at. Cohen showed the slightest bit of interest and called a power move without any power. Like, Liam Cohen's an OC in Tampa Bay, and he got your organization to fire your GM just so you could hire him. Like, this isn't Mike Tomlin. This isn't the Bill Belichick. This is Liam Cohen that you changed your front office structure for. So he better go in there, win that division next year. Not saying Baalke deserved to keep his job or anything, but it's just like, you listen to Liam Cohen. Like, what's he done?
Well, I mean, listen, he helped Baker Mayfield to a 4,500 season, but he also led the league in turnovers. So I don't know.
Right. But it's one thing. It's one thing being an OC and coaching a quarterback and an offense. Now you're running the show. So he has to build his staff. Do we even know Liam Cohen can do that? We'll see. Like, is he going to be involved in defense in any way? Is he just going to be offense? Like, it's a lot different. You got a lot more hats to deal with than just being an OC.
Brett?
Yeah, I don't think that Cohen lasts very long in Jacksonville. I think it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see the effect that he has on Trevor Lawrence. Are we going to get a more aggressive Trevor Lawrence next year?
Granted, probably turn the ball over more because that's what Baker did this year.
And that's what I'm curious. Is he just going to let him cut loose, and are we going to see more yards but more turnovers? Granted, I don't know how similar of a scheme you can run. You don't have Evans, Godwin, and like the receivers that they did in Tampa, then in Jacksonville. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive they are and what kind of scheme they run and everything.
And if that press conference wasn't bad enough, I gotta head to Dallas. By the way, Jory asks who gets credit for Baker, Canales or Cohen. I would say Canales, and I think this season, even though Baker had a good season statistically, he also led the league in turnovers. And like you're gonna ask a question real quick. Brian Dable had Josh Allen looking great, but he led the league in turnovers. But Joe Brady had, I'd say, Buffalo closest to getting the Super Bowl. And in this year, and with Josh not turning the football over. And as if that press conference wasn't bad enough, I invite you guys, please go watch the Brian Schottenheimer press conference. I really just please watch it. It's absolute comedy. At first, they introduce Brian Schottenheimer as the new head coach. And it's a very, 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 very small round of applause. It almost sounded like it was like a golf clap. Like a guy like tapped in a putt. Like it was just like very, very small round. Then they introduced Stephen Jones and no one talked. Like it was so quiet. Like no one was, nope, sorry, quiet. And then Jerry Jones said, and I quote, 6 times that it was a risky hire. Jones definitely wanted the media to know that Schottenheimer's a risky hire. It's a risk that Jones never had to make. Sure, Jones' speech at the press conference is to cover himself for inevitably firing Schottenheimer a lot earlier than most would expect, but Jones has to realize that his words during that press conference did not give fans the feeling that Schottenheimer has the vote of confidence of the Dallas Cowboys. They said multiple times, well, he's our guy. So he might not be the guy everybody wanted, but he's our guy. How do you say that in your press conference? And the worst part is this guy was in the building. It wasn't like he's a new guy you're bringing in. He's their active offensive coordinator this year.
Mm-hmm.
What? Just remove McCarthy. That's what you did. What gets better this year? I don't understand. And then they bring in Matt Eberflus to coach the defense. A former fired head coach from the NFC North. Oh, wait, you did that last year with Mike Zimmer. I don't understand. What are I'm sorry, but it's like they replayed last year. They're like, all right, well, we got a fired head coach from the NFC North to be our defensive coordinator, and we'll just promote our OC. Oh, we did this before. Do you guys remember in the early 2000s, they hired what was that moron's name that was there for 3 years and then he was gone? Oh my God. I'm going to get it for you guys right now. Hold on. Here we go. Head coaches over the years. Dave Campo. Remember?
Yeah.
Dave Campo. 3 years of Dave Campo. Right before Bill Parcells. After Chan Galley. Dave Campo went 50, 15, and 33. Jason Garrett had 9 years as the head coach. We fired Wade Phillips. We promoted our offensive coordinator. That's exactly what they did. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Your thoughts on the Cowboys press conference, gentlemen?
This is why they don't win anything. I mean, for them to say it was a risk, I guess it's a risk if you pick a guy that was not desired by anybody else. And you spoke big about Dion. We're talking to Dion. Dion's interested. We're going to go get Dion. Dion's interested. That fizzled out after 36 hours or so. Then it was what's going on with the Cowboys? Then randomly it was oh, Brian Schottenheimer is interviewing. And everybody was like, oh, okay. Is this leading to somebody else? Because Mike McCarthy wasn't good enough to keep his job, even though you waited a week to let him go. Let everybody else get a head start, get the people in that they wanted, and then you were left with what? Who really interviewed for that job that you were like, that'd be a good hire. So, look, Schottenheimer is going to do whatever Jerry Jones probably faxes to him early in the morning when he gets out of bed. I feel like Jerry Jones is a fax type of guy. And, he'll get up, he'll say, we're running this, this, and this. This guy's going to play, this one isn't. And Schottenheimer's just going to stand on the sideline and be Jerry Jones' puppet, which is what Jerry Jones wants. And that's why Jerry Jones hasn't won a thing since the 90s. Because guys who had actual backbones, he doesn't get them anymore. Gone are your Jimmy Johnsons and your Bill Parcells. Now it's Jason Garrett's, Brian Schottenheimer types. Cool.
Completely agree with
you. Keep doing you, Jerry. Keep doing you.
All right, guys. In lieu of us talking about coaches, I have a trivia question that I plan on doing weekly with you guys. And these are NFL trivia questions. And when we get Godfrey back, we'll go three-way. Or if we have, when we have Chase back, we'll go four-way. It doesn't matter. But they're very similar to what we do on Wire to Wire. Now, these aren't easy trivia questions. You guys are football guys, and it's gonna be tough for you guys to get them all. I don't expect you to get every answer on this list. But whoever wins before they get 3 strikes is going to win this week. And then we're going to go from there each week. Okay. So I don't know if you'll get them all, but the trivia question is top 12 coaches in the NFL in wins. Top 12 coaches in the NFL in all-time wins. Okay. Now turn off your chats. Don't cheat. I know you guys are very honorable people. Turn off your chats, okay? Yeah. But there's a reason I chose top 12. I promise you there's a reason to it. Gentlemen, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10. Brett, what's that number?
2.
Kyle?
4.
It was 7. Kyle goes first. Kyle, give me one of the names in the top 12 quarterback wins for coaches of all time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stick close to home. I'm going to go Bill Belichick.
I already wrote it down for you. Number 3, Bill Belichick.
Okay.
I'll go Bill Parcells.
That would be strike 1.
Wow.
Let me see where Bill Parcells is on the list, though. I want to see how
he has to be up there.
He's 14, so he's not far off. He has 172 wins.
Gotta go Don Shula.
Don Shula is number 1. Would you like to know how many wins he has? 328.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
I'll keep this one simple. I'll go Andy Reid.
That is correct. He's number 4. 273.
Let's
a lot of big names here, guys. A lot of big names. Old school names are here. I'm trying to help you guys.
I guess I'll try to hit some old school. Let's go Tom Landry.
Tom Landry is number 5. 3-1.
Oh, wow. That was actually the next name I was going to say. So I didn't say it.
Right, you're down 3-1. There's a name on here you better get. If that's a hint, I'll give it to you. There's a name on here you better get.
I'm going to go Vince Lombardi.
It's not the name I'm looking for. It's a strike.
Oh, I probably would have said Lombardi too. I guess let's keep going old. Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll is number 8. It's 2 strikes for Brett right now. And there's some big names on here.
You know, I'm going to go Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is number 11. Brett stays alive. Kyle's killing this, dude. Kyle, you're murdering the game right now.
I'm trying to think if I want to stay old or go kind of newer. I'll try another old one. Let's go Paul Brown.
I like the mindset. I like the thought that Paul Brown's number 20.
Okay. That's cool.
It's a strike for you, my friend. Brett, be very careful. Don't just shoot the gun unless you're sure. Can I give Brett a hint? He's got 2 strikes. I don't want the game to be over right now. Can I give him a hint?
Yeah.
All right, Brett, there's 2 coaches on this list that have coached your teams.
I was tempted to go Mike McCarthy because I know he's been around for a while. You know what? I'll go McCarthy. He's been around long enough.
Number 12, Mike McCarthy.
Okay. I mean, I could take the other Packer one because I feel like I know, but I'll leave that one for Brett.
Do you know? Because I'll tell you right now, there's a Packer one on this list there's 3 Packers in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I thought would be in the top 12 is not. But if I was a diehard Packer fan, I would probably know the other one. I'm trying to give hints here. You know what? I gave Brett a hint. Let me give you a hint.
Okay.
There's a Cowboys coach on this list. There's a Packers coach on this list. There's I can't. That's it.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Packers, and then there's a bunch of others.
Yeah. So I think I'll go. I want to say Bill Walsh.
Strike 2, brother.
Really?
Strike 2. Bill
Okay.
Walsh is. Man, where's Bill Walsh at? A lot further down than I'd expect him to be.
Okay. Okay.
Brett, you're up.
I know. I'm trying to think. Feeling the pressure on this one. Don't want to jump the gun here. I'm trying to think of some big name coaches that we haven't mentioned yet.
None are active.
Okay. None are active. Okay.
Okay. I forgot. Did we say Shula yet?
Don Shula was number 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, we said Tom.
I love the chat. The chat's all wrong, too, by the way. I'm glad you guys aren't looking at the chat. There's not one right answer in the chat.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'll do another older. Oh wait, no. Oh, he's technically active now. Shoot. Okay, hold on. I was about to say somebody who is technically active. I think Pete Carroll was in long enough to be on a list like this, but you said they're not. You said nobody active, so I'm gonna withhold the Pete Carroll guess.
I love this.
Oh, I'm getting stumped. Okay.
This list was funny. I came up with it intentionally for today.
Who is the coach of? How about Mike Ditka? He's coach of like the '86 Bears.
Ditka is not in the top 12. Kyle, if you get one, we'll call it a wrap.
Look, the name that popped up. How about them Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson?
Nope.
Really?
No.
So,
All right.
okay, so was the Packers coach?
Yeah.
Was it Mike Holmgren?
No, he's 20th.
Okay, that's the one I thought when you said Packers. That's
I'll help you guys out. I don't want to give it to you, but I'll tell you that. All right, so number 2 is a Bears coach from like the 1920s to 1967. You guys should get it just off that.
Oh,
I mean, there's a trophy named after him.
I know. I'm trying to think.
Number 6, there's a football field named after him.
George Halas.
George Halas is number 2. Number 6, there's a friggin' football field named after him.
So was the Packers coach Curly Lambeau?
That's correct. Number 7, his son just got a coaching job. Number 7, his son, we just talked about.
Oh, yeah. Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty Schottenheimer. Number 8 is a Steelers coach from the 70s. I think you guys said him now. Number 8, Kyle got Chuck Noll.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9 is a coach that coached for the Broncos during Elway's era, the beginning of it. Coached for the Giants after Parcells, and then coached for the Falcons at the end of his career.
Dan Reeves. I should have got
correct. That. And the last one is number 10, which you guys missed. This is the hardest one in my opinion. This is OJ's coach in 1978 to 82. He's the Rams coach and then he came all the way back to coach the Rams for 3 years at the end of his career. And then he coached the Seahawks for a good portion of his career. And that's old Chuck Knox.
Okay. Yeah, that one I did. Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to give the win to Kyle this week. Good show, good conversation, good trivia. I made it difficult. I wanted to make it fun but difficult.
Yeah.
I was very upset Brett didn't get Curly Lambeau. I get it's before his time, but the goddamn field is named after him.
I say sometimes I struggle with trivia. I was overthinking everything. That's my problem. I just overthink sometimes in trivia.
You know who number 13 is? Mr. 500 himself.
Yeah, I figured Jeff Fisher was going to be up there.
Mr. 500 himself. He's 173 and 165. He's the only one even close to having a 50% winning percentage on this list.
Yeah.
Because Fisher, Bill Parcells, you know who's going to crack that top 12 like next year? John Harbaugh.
I almost guessed him because he's been around.
Tied for 14. Yeah. Sean Payton's 15, just 2 behind him. Carroll's 16. Mike Shanahan's tied for 16. Yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah, I was gonna guess Carroll until you said there's no active coaches. That's what stumped me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I mean, look, I'm now ready. I'll be mentally ready now for trivia each week because, yes, I'm down for that. But yeah, look, we got Pro Bowl this week, Super Bowl's next week. I'm excited for the matchup, and we'll obviously talk more about it next week. So
it's a wins list, bro. You only coached for 6 years.
My thing is, you think Ditka, you think he coached for much longer than 6 years.
Let me see. Dick is 34. He coached for more than 6 years. Coached 10 years with the Bears and then 2 years with the Saints.
Okay.
He was 15 and 33 with the Saints, by the way.
I'm sorry, he was Ricky Williams' coach. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to Sideline to Sideline. If you're a basketball fan, I need you in 50 minutes to tune in to N1. They're going to break down the all-star reserves, and I have a lot to say. Tyler Hero being an all-star reserve over Tyrese Maxey and LaMelo Ball is borderline criminal. It's criminal.
Heat culture still carries something, I guess.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Tyrese Maxey's averaging 27 points a game.
It somehow got Tyler Hero on there this year. It still means something.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out the N1 podcast and all other podcasts on Wire to Wire Network. I'm the NFL GSG Walzak. He's chomping at the bit, Collards. He's not guarding the 2. He's guarding the 3, Brett Gardy P. And we are signing out.